And there we go. We see LB Dutch. We're starting off with Zoo against the Hunter of Fireflam. And as we saw before, Zoo didn't have a really hard time with Hunter. It won on turn 5 or 6, like when Arne played it against Harmon's Hunter. Am I right?
Yeah, he won pretty good, but that was a really bad hand for his opponent Harmon. We got two bows, two Houndmasters, and
Yes.
it was pretty rough. But we see that LB Dutch Boy has switched it up from that Reno lock to that Zoo lock as we talked about, and now we see a better hand for the Fireflam, as that Voidwalker slamming on the board distracted me a little bit.
That double drop is pretty strong for Fireflam. You can, especially when you're on the coin, you can coin one out on turn 2 and play the other one on turn 3. And because it's 2 attack and 5 health, it can remove so many of the Zulok, because most of the Zulok minions has 2 health and not a lot of attack. So that drops can do a lot of damage to the minions of LB Dutch Boy.
Yeah, but when that gets coined out, there's that Crazed Alchemist. There is no Doomsayer in the deck, I believe, of Fireflam, but the Crazed Alchemist can make a 5-2 of that Carrion Grub, and if the knife hits it, then that Voidwalker can trade into that one. But we see also on turn 4 that Infested Wolf of Fireflam, and he can also go for that. So now he has to make that decision. Does he go for the huge Toad, or for the Infested, for coining out the Carrion Grub?
I think you're just going out to Carrion Grub here, because if you go for Toad, LB Dutch Boy has such an easy way of dealing with that. You even take the risk that LB Dutch Boy have a double 1 drop or a 1 drop and a 2 drop and hit both juggles on it, and then you're already so far behind that you cannot come back from it. While the Garrison Grub contests the entire board here, so I think it's a 100% grub, and as Fireflam decides the same thing here.
Yeah, and draws into a great card there, LB Dutch Boy. Now he has a power overwhelming as well, so he can go for that Crazed Alchemist on the Carrion Grub, trade into that with the Knife Juggler or the Voidwalker. It's about, does the knife fly out first and does it then switch, or does it?
No, it switches first.
He decides to go with the M Gang Boss.
Yeah, the Imgang Boss is also pretty good, because the Garrison Grub has only 2 attack, so it cannot get past the Voidwalker, and so the Knife Juggler is pretty safe here. Or he has to have a bow or something, but as you can see in the end of Fireflam, he doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't have a bow. He does have a Carrion Grub to play, or a more awkward play, which will be a kill command. We probably won't see a kill command, but it could also be a Flame Juggler.
Now, I think you just go for the Grub again,
Yeah.
trade into the Voidwalker, but it's pretty awkward though. That Voidwalker is doing a lot of work while it's only a 1/3 taunt.
Yes, and if that Carrion Grub, the 2/4 that's now on the board, hits that Voidwalker with the Defender of Argus coming down, it could be another awkward turn. But there is that kill command. He sees the threat that is coming out of that Imp Gang boss and decides to remove it, and the knife hits.
Yeah, that's a huge knife, because now LB Dutch Boy can Argus up his Knife Juggler and then clear the Garrison Grub so easy. And especially when he trades here, now the Argus can make even a better trade. That's huge. If the juggle hits from the Argus on the Grub, that's gonna be insane.
And it does hit, and now the Voidwalker can trade with that one, and there's 5 damage on the face of the Hunter. So a good start for LB Dutch Boy, and let's see if Fireflam can turn it around.
It's gonna be really, really difficult, because LB Dutch Boy has 10 damage of burst already in hand, and Fireflam doesn't have any taunts or heal. So if LB Dutch Boy just decides to go full face all the time and put him on 10 HP, this game can already be over on turn 6.
He also has that Crazed Alchemist to get that extra damage in, as if he wants to. So there's the Darkshire Councilman as well. So
I think this seals the game. He's probably gonna drop the Councilman, swap the Defender of Argus, and go for 8 damage to the face. And the turn after, Fireflam has to remove the entire board for 5 mana here. and also play a Taunt, and that's impossible for 5 mana, especially for a Hunter that doesn't run any board clears at all.
Yeah, he decided to go for that kill command early on instead of developing the board. And yeah, it could be that it is biting him in the back right now.
Biting him in the bills. No. I don't know what LB Dodgebur is considering here. Maybe he's considering tapping, but I think the only play you can do here is just go face. He didn't go for the Councilman here, and he decides to go for a safe play and trick. Why did he play?
Because he wants to have the knife hit on the spiders. So he wanted the knife coming out of the knife on one of the spiders. It was a 66% chance, but he doesn't hit one.
I'm not a really big fan of this play, because you also play a little bit in Unleash the Hounds now. What's in the hand of firevlam though?
Yeah, it's a chance for firevlam to come back.
You could just put him on like 11 HP or 10 of 12 HP, and there was no way for firevlam that he could find a play for 5 mana that can deal with literally everything. Even when he goes for Houndmaster for 4 mana, he played off curve, he had only 5 health down, and he had like 9 damage on board and 10 damage in hand. So
the question is here: do you probably go for Unleash? But do you go for Flame Juggler?
Yes,
or do
definitely.
you go for Huge Toad?
No Flame Juggler. You want to remove everything, at least as much as possible. So if you go for Flame Juggler first... Oh, I don't know why I did this, but... Because now you have only a 1 in 3 chance you're gonna hit. And now it's lethal for LB Dodgebur. Well played by LB Dodgebur.
He finds his first game, power overwhelming on the Councilman, hits the face of LB Dutchboy, yes. And that's it, firevlam even concedes before getting the final blow in. So yes, that is 1-0 for LB Dutchboy.
Yes, I don't think firevlam is that mad about it, because normally Zoo wins this matchup anyway, and it's really favored for Zoolog. So firevlam has to make up his mind now and think, okay, my lineup is good against his Freeze Mage, so even if he wins with Shaman now, I still have that shot to win 3 times against the Freeze Mage. If it's Freeze Mage though,
so
it can also be a Tempo Mage.
Yeah, you expect LB Dutchboy to go for that Shaman right now instead of that Freeze Mage, because that Freeze Mage is not favored against the matchup of firevlam. Yes. But what would you decide to pick here against that Shaman? You probably go for that Zoolog, right?
Yeah, definitely. Zoolog is one of those decks that can deal with Shaman pretty easy, because all your minions can trade really well. And Shaman doesn't play a lot of board clear, so when you can get bored as a Zoo, there's no way the Shaman can come back from that. Only when you have like a huge lightning storm, but even then you can just play a lot of minions again.
Yeah, I believe that LB Dutchboy played as a more mid-range Shaman last week, so we could see that lightning storm in his hand. But as we saw with his Zoolog, he is not afraid to switch some decks up. He doesn't switch his class, but he switches up the type of his deck, his archetype, going for a more aggressive style instead of a full control. And that might explain this Freeze Mage. It's more aggressive this week. Last week we saw more control decks. We saw more Paladins, for example.
I think people took a lot of control decks just to be a little bit more safe, because the decks are a little bit more consistent. But now you know what people play, and you saw them play. You can do a little bit of research about your opponent, what they like to play. And actually only Mate brought an entire lineup that no one played, right? With the Cartoon decks.
Yeah,
but all the other 7 players plays pretty standard decks.
Yeah, Mate brought other decks as the other ones did too. Cartoon decks, indeed. And he brought...
and he's on top of the standings.
Yeah, he is. So he's one of the 2 players that won twice already, but we see here the Freeze Mage, not the Shaman for LB Dutchboy, and he's playing against the Hunter, and I believe that is that an okay matchup?
No, it's actually pretty bad, because that Hunter has the hero power and has a lot of burst damage. It can pressure your life points pretty bad, and if you're on a low HP, you cannot stabilize with like ice barriers or Alexstrasza yourself, because that hero power every turn will kill you eventually.
And look at the tech card of firevlam. He has a Harrison Jones in his deck, and
Understandable, because the most played classes are weapon classes, but then I don't understand why you would ban the warrior, because there's Warlock, Shaman, Mage, Warrior, and he puts tech cards like Harrison Jones in his decks, but then bans the only weapon class. Like, that makes no sense, right?
no, it doesn't make any sense at all. And I am looking at the hand right here of firevlam. He's thinking about how to deal with this Doomsayer, and he decides not to. He decides to go for face, and well, there will be 7 damage in total to the face of the mage, and he's well ahead with doing the damage.
Yeah, and LB Dutch was in a pretty good spot, because normally Hunter curves pretty well, and then you have no way of dealing with the board till turn 6 or something. But firevlam only did 7 damage and has nothing on the board, and LB Dutchback could play a secret on an empty board, and that's pretty huge.
So let's see, it's
Yeah, it's pretty difficult for firevlam here. I think you go for the Infested Wolf, because it's a little sticky. You cannot play board clear on that. He loses even the juggle against the Acolyte.
yeah, so fire bolts to the face of this mage, who is looking for more cards. He's gonna use his Forgotten Torch to get rid of that King's Alec, and another Doomsayer to make sure that this board stays clean. And then for the next turn he has a Blizzard, he has a Frost Nova, but he doesn't have that many card draw. And a great sub deck here for firevlam with that deadly shot.
Because he didn't have a way. Whoa, firevlam.
He has the coin. He has the coin.
Is he going for the deadly shot?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Okay. I thought he's gonna save that for Emperor Thorson next turn, because it was pretty clear that LB Dutch Boy wanted to play the Emperor there, because that's why you make a Doomsayer play on turn 5.
Yeah, but he went for that Emperor Thorson while drawing into the Arcane Intellect.
Yes.
So, well, it gets discounted right now. AT firevlam is looking at his options here. He can clear with his 2 minions, but he has
now he has to clear it with both means, and that's pretty awkward though, because if he just waited 1 turn, then he could develop a minion now, like the Animal Companion, and play the deadly shot and save the coin. So I think that was a little bit better though.
Yeah, we could see that Emperor Thorson, but firevlam could not. So maybe he was going for the easy way out. He saw that deadly shot and was like, yes, that was what I was looking for. And that was the way for me to get on that board. But now there's that Emperor Thorson. You cannot leave that on the board. You don't know how much damage, how much burst damage is there in the hand of the mage. And the question is
he going face here?
Yeah, he's just ignoring it.
Yeah, but I don't think LB Dutch Boy is that greedy to attack here. I think he will just go for the Arcane Intellect. Even maybe... Oh, wow! He can make a huge play here by going for double Arcane Intellect Frost Nova and get a lot of value out of the Emperor. Because I'm 100% sure LB Dutch Boy is not gonna attack into that freezing trap.
Oh, he will probably... He will not. I guess he will not. And then he draws into the Pyroblast Roaring Torch. Great burst cards and his Ice Block. So it all looks pretty good for LB Dutch Boy. And maybe a little bit of a greedy play here by firevlam. But what does he find? He finds a kill command. And that is great removal for that Emperor Thorson. So if he plays the kill command, what can he do else? He can play the huge Toad and his hero power. But he cannot get any damage into the face. But in the hand of LB Dutch Boy, there's a Blizzard waiting.
Yeah, he definitely has to play a skill command here, because you cannot give him 3 turns of Emperor here, and already 2 turns of Emperor is way too much, especially against Freeze Mage. So I don't know why he didn't clear it though last turn. We will see what's gonna happen now. He still has a big board though, but Dutch Boy has pretty cheap removal with the Blizzard.
It's cheap removal indeed. Can even draw more cards and put his ice block up, but he's not in any danger as of yet.
And firevlam is running out of cards too. And the fun thing is that LB Dutchburg can play Novice Engineer, and next turn he can run the Novice Engineer in the freezing trap and can maybe draw another card.
That would be a great play, but he decides to ping his Acolyte. Acolyte is also contesting some minions of firevlam, and a great play, but we also saw the huge Toad pitting his Slime. Unfortunately for LB Dutchboy, not on the Acolyte, but on the face of the mage.
Yes, let's see. Ooh, in the high main, huge top deck by firevlam. That was a card that he needed. He needed that big guy that could push for damage and cannot be killed by a big board clear.
Because we don't see enough damage yet in the hand of LB Dutchboy, and with a Call of the Wild, there could still be a possibility for firevlam to get back into this game.
Yeah, and LB Dutchboy is looking for a freeze now, because it's pretty difficult. I think firevlam has enough damage, right, to proc the block. He has 11 and 15, 16, 18 on board. So if LB Dutchboy clears one, he's fine, right? But he can also decide to Ice Lance the high main, though.
Can Ice Lance the high main? Probably will ping his Acolyte here with his hero power to draw another card.
I still think LB Dutchboy should have gone for the Novice Engineer last turn, because now it's really awkward for him. He cannot attack with that Acolyte of Pain, and when he played that Novice Engineer, he had the same amount of card draw, and then he could proc that freezing trap so easy and make the trade with an Acolyte into one of the minions.
Okay, now we see that Ice Lance going on to that Savannah high main. It's a big threat, and is he going to trade his Acolyte into that Infested Wolf? Wants to play another Acolyte and his Ice Block, so now he's safe for any damage that comes in. So
firevlam doesn't have any burst in his hand. Ooh, and now can he go for a huge play? He can play the Harrison Jones play, quick shot on the Acolyte to deny some card draw, but also get an extra card himself. Let's see what's gonna happen here. But LB Dutch, we have a lot of card draw on the board, but he's still looking for some extra burst. How many damage does he have in hand? He has like 10 from the Pyroblast, 16, and he doesn't have a crossbow, so it's not enough. He's looking for that Alex now. Alex Straza will probably win in the game here.
Yeah, Alex Straza would be a great draw, but he has that Bot Mage Talnos being drawn first. He can draw a little bit more. With that freezing trap going off on that Novice Engineer, that secret still being up there. You couldn't see that at home. We'll try to fix that next week with production. And let's see, he has a little bit more opportunities to draw. He can still ping, he can still play his Novice Engineer, but he has to be worried that if he uses any more mana, he cannot play that Alex Straza.
Ooh, that's a nice draw. That was exactly the card he was looking for. The Frost Nova to save him a little bit extra here. And now we can go for Blood Mage Talnos, Loot Hoarder, or maybe even go Loot Hoarder, Novice Engineer, and then freeze the board. But is he going for the ping on the infested wolf and then go for Frost Nova? That was exactly what he was looking for. Nice pickup by LB Dutchboy, and it's going to be really difficult, but LB Dutchboy is still looking for his Alex Straza and his second ice block.
He decides that he's not going to wait on that Alex Straza. He's going to put in some damage on that face of the Hunter. He feels the time is ticking away. He has 2 turns left with that ice block being up, and he has in his hand 16 damage.
Yeah, and it's pretty nice pickup by firevlam here, the Houndmaster, because it protects 4 damage from LB Dutchboy, and that damage LB Dutchboy needed to burst him down in a few turns.
So there's another Loot Hoarder.
Yeah, there's so many card draw of LB Dutchboy here.
Yeah, he has 9 more cards in his deck.
And he can draw the half of them, at least. Ooh, Blizzard again, and now... Wow, now he can save another turn. He can go for like ping on the Infested Wolf and then play Blizzard to get some extra turns.
There's the Fireball. So
Yes.
you know you have 2 turns, right? And if he goes Fireball, and a ping to the face, he has Pyroblast for the next turn to finish it up.
Yeah, wow, that he turned his game around. That Frost Nova pickup probably won him the game. And can firevlam find a way? Does he play something like Kazan Mystic or the Secret Killer? How does it call? The Secret Destroyer, the Secret Eater, is it? Am I right?
Secret Eater is not being hasn't been a meta card
No, not
as
yet.
of right now. There's no healing in the deck of firevlam, and that means he is gonna lose against this freeze mage.
It was looking so good for firevlam the entire game, but then LB Dodgeball could draw like 5-6 cards a turn and draw into his entire deck. And there's even the Alex Straza, but he doesn't need it because Pyroblast seals the dealer and makes it 2-0 for LB Dodgeball. Well played by him. And he has to win one more game with Shaman, and as we know, Shaman is capable of doing that.
Shaman is definitely capable of doing that, and well, as we have seen last week, then LB Dutchboy was also, I believe, was he 2-0 ahead against Private Ryan? Against Ratchet?
I think LB Dutchboy.
Yeah, he was ahead, and then eventually he lost. So he can still feel the win can still slip away from him if he doesn't.
Yeah,
play his best game.
Let's check the lineup of firevlam. Can he reverse sweep? I think if it's a Zulok, that could be an easy win for Zulok against Shaman though. Mid-range Hunter, if it curves out and gets a good Houndmaster value, it can win against Shaman. And the Shaman mirror is just a 50-50, but I think the mid-range Shaman of LB Dutchboy, well, I think it's a mid-range Shaman though, I didn't see the deck yet, but is a little bit favored against a face Shaman because you have a little bit more towns, you have a little bit more big minions, you have also some board clears. So let's see what's gonna happen. We jump into the game and we see that firevlam picks his best matchup first, like we see most of the times, to get some moral boost, winning one game at least. And yeah, LB Dutchboy starting here with the Tunnel Truck.
Yeah, he has a Tunnel Truck and an Ancestral Knowledge to follow that one up, but you probably want to use a Totem right there instead of... or do you want to draw more cards and then get ready for that 4-mana 7/7 to slam on the board on turn 4?
If you don't have another play on turn 2, you probably have to go for it, but you play against Zoo, so you don't want to give away your tempo, because then you're gonna lose 100%, especially when firevlam decides to go for a Flame Imp here. What can contest the Tunnel Truck so easy, but firevlam is thinking, if I go for a Flame Imp here as only play, there's a slight chance that get lightning bolted, or maybe even get rock bitered. Yeah, maybe LB Dutchboy is just taunting up here, but I'm not sure though.
Yeah, well, taunting up, he has an Ancestral Knowledge he can use, or just, totem up and get some extra minions on the board, but then he has only a 1 in 4 chance to get a taunt minion, and with an Ancestral Knowledge he can trade into that Flame Imp and make sure that the board stays clean. But he can also just attack the face of firevlam.
And that's the lightning bolt. Wow, that was one draw late. If he could have that one turn earlier, he could have lightning bolted the Flame Imp and maybe get some tempo there. But we see a really interesting card from LB Dutchboy that makes his matchup way better for him, and that's the Elemental Destruction.
Yes, the Elemental Destruction, being able to remove the total board of that Zulok if it becomes pretty big, and that is his tech card, I believe, against the weakest matchup he could face.
Yes, I think LB Dutchboy did some homework and knew that firevlam is going to bring an aggro lineup and made some tech cards like Elemental Destruction against it.
And that's something you can do in a tournament setup that you normally don't do on ladder, and that's the difference between playing in a tournament like this instead of just trying to win as many games as you can to get that legendary status.
Yes, exactly. But firevlam is a really good hand though. He has that Councilman into the Forbidden Ritual, but he could also even go for Abusive Sergeant Niger, and he decides to Earthshock here for 1 mana just to not get too far behind on board. And next turn he can go for the 7/7, and firevlam doesn't have a proper way of dealing with that.
You can Crazed Alchemist it. Oh wait, no.
And make it a new 7/7. Feels good, man. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
You can also use the Crazed Alchemist on the Councilman and make it a 4/1 and use it to trade with the Abusive Sergeant and a Knife Juggler.
Yeah, you can go for like Knife Juggler. Or do you just go for Forbidden Rituals here? Oh, it's so difficult for Fireflame. I understand why he's thinking really good here. He's like 3 or 4 options here, and they're all pretty not optimal. Because you don't want to waste the Abusive here, but if you only play Knife Juggler, you're playing off curve, and Forbidden Rituals looks pretty weak because your Councilman got silenced, so there are only 3 1/1s, but I still think it's the best play, especially with the Defender of Argus in hand and with the Abusive Sergeant in hand.
That's incredible.
Alright, so there we see that Forbidden Ritual being played, and next turn we can expect that 4 mana 7/7 to hit the board. It's no time for that Elemental Destruction, but that can be the card later on in the game that wins LB Dutch Boy this match and get him on the board of the ESL Benelux Championship. But now fireflam has to figure out how to deal with the 7/7. Is he going to use that Crazed Alchemist to to get some value out of the Councilman? Because
yeah, I think you have to. I think you just go for Crazed Alchemist and then Abusive Sergeant. Clear it off. You only lose like your silenced Councilman. That doesn't matter at all. And losing 1/1/1 is not that big of a deal because you develop 2 new minions that are pretty strong, and yeah, LB Dutchwood doesn't have a proper way of dealing with everything. And he decides to go for Horse Rider instead of Feral Spirits, and I still think Feral Spirits deals way better with everything what's on the board right now.
well, we see that Defender of Argus in the hand of Fireflam that can make that Abusive Sergeant and Crazed Alchemist trade into that one. But yeah, then you get only those 2 1/1s to the face, but he chooses to go with the Argus Horse Rider. And it's going to go face, so he's going to go aggressive because he has that Elemental Destruction in hand, and he knows that he can clear the board if Fireflam overextends. So he could be forcing that play of Fireflam.
Yeah, I think LB Dutch Boy is baiting an overextend here by going face here. Oh wow, and Fireflam takes the bait here, and he decides to ruin these 2 1/1s.
So is it time for Elemental Destruction? You have a Lightning Bolt in hand to
he's going for
the next turn. Yeah, so there's Elemental Destruction. And you were talking about those webcams, and I wanted to see facial expressions.
But the really strong thing about it is that he could still develop two towns from 2/3, and Fireflam has nothing in hand. He can go for Direwolf Argus or something. Is that the play here? But LB Dutch Boy has 1 mana to spend, and that's exactly the card that can deal with that 3/3. Wow, that Elemental Destruction completely turned around the game, and LB Dutch Boy... Oh no, he has no mana left. Oh, I thought he had... Oh wow.
No, he has no mana. So yeah, that's pretty awkward because if he wants to trade into that wolf, that is not gonna happen. So
I really like what LB Dutch Boy is doing here. He didn't trade both wolves into the Direwolf, because if Fireflame makes 2 trades here, he could easily clear it with the Doomhammer, the 1 health minions.
So the question is, are we gonna see a Discover here with the Dark Peddler, or is he gonna go for the Dark Iron Dwarf and the Abusive Sergeant?
I think the Dark Iron Dwarf is the biggest threat on the board, and I think it's better to develop a 4/4 minion, even though if you don't get the buff out of it, then just play some weak minions and hope you can get some extra value. But I think
look at the hand of LB Dutch Boy. He has a Doomhammer, he has a Lightning Bolt, he has a Lava Burst, he has 12 damage coming in.
He's just missing the Rockbiter though. If he can pick up a Rockbiter, it's gonna get lethal. It's gonna be lethal pretty soon, and he can decide to go here for Doomhammer, Feral Spirits, and just go face maybe. He has 10 bursts in hand. He decides to trade both in, and he's gonna Lava Burst a 4/4. I think he wants to play the board control game. Especially with the Doomhammer, you can get such board control, especially against the Zulog, because all their minions are like around 2 health. And if you see the hand of Fireflam, there are 2 minions in. Ooh, and that Brand with Fettler. It's gonna be huge though.
So we're gonna head into that Mulligan, and we see the Possessed Villager, Murloc, Tidecaller, and Corruption. That went pretty fast.
And I think LB Dutchboy has to go full face now, I guess. How many damage can he do? He wasted the
Lava Burst. He wasted the Lava Burst.
Yes, I was looking for that card. Yeah. So he doesn't have that many range anymore. He's still looking for that Rockbiter to finish the game.
And is he gonna trade his Doomhammer into that Brand Bronzebeard? Maybe use his Lava Shock as well.
I think he can Lava Shock the Brand, trade the Doomhammer into the Brand, kill the Peddler, and play the 7/7, because you get 4 new mana.
So yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, that's insane play. And that puts a lot of pressure on the board. And this might be the play that wins LB Dutchboy the game, because let's see, he has a lot of damage in hand, 7 extra damage. And with that 15 already on the board with the Doomhammer and the 3 minions, that is gonna be it if there is no good trade of Fireflam.
Yeah, and LB Dutchboy he's a little bit playing an aggressive version of Shaman, so I still think he has like 2 Rockbiters, 1 Lava Burst, and 1 Lightning Bolt in his deck for some burst. And also that Flametongue Totem is gonna give him probably 4 extra damage here. And is Fireflam using the Power Overwhelming to clear that? Wow.
Yes,
wasting all his burst to clear the 2/3 town, because he's in such a position that he cannot take any damage here.
Yeah, but is it enough? It's 9 with 4, 13. It's just 2 off.
But it forces Fireflam to draw a town, right?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't draw it, he's gonna die next turn for sure.
Yeah, the town has to be pretty strong to defend against this one, because he also has a Lightning Bolt in hand. LB Dutchboy does.
Let's play it now, because then Fireflam cannot tap.
Yeah. And LB Dutchboy sees that, and that means that Fireflam has only 1 draw to get him out of this game.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, the damage he needs is Leroy Jenkins, and does he draw it? It's a Peddler.
Is that gonna save him?
It's Mortal Coil.
Ooh, Mortal Coil. What? He could have Mortal Coiled into Leroy, right?
He could have Mortal Coiled into Leroy, yeah. I believe you are right.
Well played by LB Dutchboy, taking the game 3-0.